Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is Schreckfilm. It was written by David Larkins, Mike Mason, and Lynn Hardy, and it can be found in Berlin, the Wicked City. It's available from Chaosium. Our game master is Keith Craig, and this is episode 3. Our recap will be given by Troy Wheeldryer as his character, Conrad Esser. But before we begin, we do have a new patron. Sawyer Hill has pledged $5 a month to our club. Thank you very much, Sawyer. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Troy?
When Astrid introduced me to this group of investigators a year ago, I had some sense that they were no strangers to the uncanny and extraordinary. She had more than hinted at the dangers, very tangible threats like the damned brown shirts, as well as the hidden fears that lurk beneath our worldly veil that they had faced in the past. Her journal, which sometimes drifts into material that her Dr. Hirschfield may have found indicative of a growing illness of the mind, also tells of the bond that grew between her and these brave investigators. I've been told that during the war, men forged bonds stronger than steel, stronger than any other relationship in their lives. Those that survived often felt as though they could not fully trust or become close to another human unless they too had witnessed the horrors of the trenches, tanks, and barrage of artillery and gas canister. I now feel as though I've been initiated into a group that is involved in unraveling or solving something much darker and sinister. I fear this may just be the beginning. Mein Gott, what a harrowing past couple of days it has been. We found out from Lena that she had likely received some of her materials from the dossier from Salon Kitty, a brothel that caters to brown shirts and their ilk, making a connection between the film strip and the strange cat creatures that attacked Max. The good doctor realized that Herr Murnau was potentially in danger due to having the film strip in his possession. I unfortunately wasted several hours attempting to pursue any leads to gain access to the purveyors of Salon Kitty while Otto, Max, and Gustav went to the library. Looking back, it seems foolhardy to have left these well-meaning but not particularly erudite gentlemen roam the stacks. I am a librarian, after all. In any case, they were able to determine that the Baron Grunau was in the process of making another schlocky horror film based on some ancient Oriental text. I'm not quite the cinephile, as my artistic sensibilities lie more in portraiture and the beaux art, and yet there is something enticing about the cult of celebrity that surround actors and the majestic tyranny and megalomania of the film director. More leads to follow, I suppose. We reconvened after I had collected some special articles of clothing from the Institute. As Club Silhouette does not allow menfolk to enter without dressing as the opposite sex, we likely would have had immense trouble getting to meet Fraulein Leon. Luckily for us, the Institute regularly receives donations of appropriately proportioned clothing and shoes for die Transvestiten that seek our services. In the dark, the men of our group look somewhat passable, even with my rudimentary makeup skills. At the club, we were able to speak to Fraulein Leon, but only gathered that she is looking to enter into acting like her good friend, Marlene. She unfortunately had little to offer in way of information about Agnes and seemed completely oblivious to the other aspects of our investigation. The spectacle of the club, smoke-filled and bristling with drunk and extravagantly and eccentrically dressed folk from all walks of life, was quickly shattered by the brutes in the brown shirts, who decided to pillage like the Huns of old. Being a passionate pacifist, I aided the club goers in escaping out of the fire exit while my brave fellow investigators fought off the horde of thugs. Suddenly, I heard a huge thunderclap coming from inside the club. Fearing that a bomb had exploded, I went to check for my compatriots to no avail. Narrowly avoiding detection by the gangsters, I escaped to my apartment, shaken and distraught. What will come of this? How shall I proceed without this group that has so welcomed me into their ranks? The pangs of loss can only be dimmed with alcohol, I fear. Postscript. To my great joy, the good doctor has called and all is well. He calmly explained that they were able to leave through some kind of device, the likes of which would cause the explosion of noise I heard. I'm truly baffled by this, as I have no earthly idea how they could have escaped, but for now, I am simply content that they were not injured or worse in the melee.
All right, that was amazing. Great job. So we find you guys reunited the next day at your usual cafe, uh trying to figure out where to go. This evening you have a dinner date with Alistair Crowley, but you do have the rest of the day to pursue any leads that you care to.
I think that most most solid interest at this point is to see if I can send some messages asking about Das Necronomicon, um, if there is a copy available somewhere else, one of the other libraries, perhaps Munich or something like that, because I'm curious what this book is.
Mhm.
Well, also we determined that there is a copy of the Grunau's obsessive text, the Al-Azif, is in the restricted area of the Berlin Library. But given that we didn't have the credentials that Conrad and Dieter have, we didn't attempt to require it.
I'll check on that one too, but I can't read Arabic.
Necronomicon is just the title of Grunau's film, yes?
Yes.
Oh, I thought is that the name of the film? I'm sorry, I've got Das Necronomicon written down.
Yeah, well, because
heard about it, the text.
You were able to make that connection, but that's the name of the film he's making, and I believe Max was able to relate that the Necronomicon and Al-Azif is the same book.
Okay, so then I'm going to see if I can find the Al-Azif or a translation thereof.
I'll assist you, Doctor.
Yeah, I assume that the copy that Grunau has is a translation. I don't assume that he reads Arabic. But I don't wish to go back to the library anytime soon. It had been a little while, and the place has. I shall, in the late morning, speak to some of my friends who are better familiar with the comings and goings of the city's brothels, because I feel strongly that if we get a connection between the suicides that have been occurring and where the gentlemen have been entertaining themselves, it's a step. It might actually be one lady of the night that works in more than one place, or there may be it seems as though, again, there have been incidents relating to Brussels that are favored by the brown shirts. Not the ones I know very well.
That whole thing last a few years ago that we went through, that had a lot to do with ladies of the night and suicides.
Yeah. The sex magic.
Yeah, sex magic, of which Alistair Crowley is the leading authority.
I had always thought the man, based on his reputation, was a bit of a charlatan, but having seen the young woman's face, I am compelled to believe he knows his stuff.
Before we go to the library, I'd like to just check in on Lena and make sure that she's doing okay.
Yeah.
When you get there, she's still asleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hasn't been attacked. No cats, I guess.
No cats. No cats. No.
All right. Yeah, we go to the library then.
Okay.
Okay. So,
did you have any cats visiting you during the night, Guzman?
Nothing.
Good. Maybe they've lost the trail.
All right. So Guzman and Conrad are going to the library. Otto, you were going to try and work some of your contacts to get some information about various brothels or What exactly were you kind of looking for?
Yeah, I want. I guess I'll speak to a couple of the fellows I know who manage several women and see if I can figure out a correlation between the suicides, the brothels, maybe contact at the Kitty Cat Club.
Okay, gotcha. And
Um,
Gustav and
I think
Max?
I have an idea to almost do the the alternative to what I was doing. I might want to look, see if any of my law and police contacts have heard of any like reports of crime that has happened at brothels recently that might correspond to like our investigation and the suicides and stuff. Like, see if anybody's heard any stories, happening. So like, when he's gonna check the more underworld side, I'll check the more, police and law side of things.
Sounds good. And
Yeah.
Max?
I'd kind of like to go along with Gustav to the
Okay.
police area. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Otto, we'll just have you do yours first. So you kind of are working the thing. What you find is that most of the brothels throughout the city are they're licensed and they're up and up. What you find about Salon Kitty is that it is very exclusive in the girls that it employs. It's run by a Kitty Schmidt, and you can give me a luck roll for this. Let's see.
Ah, very good. 12 for 52. So easy peasy.
What your contact tells you is that about a year ago they really stopped bringing in new women. The last one that left the salon said that they started having strange initiation rituals that she had no interest in, and then she moved away from the city to try and ply her trade down in Munich.
Of course, I'll try to get a contact for her there in case she can describe these initiations, but the post and people moving and so on. But I'll take down what I can.
Gotcha. Okay. Dieter and Conrad, you guys arrive at the Prussian State Library, and you go in, and just as described before, it's a massive library, lots of people doing research and everything.
You think, Conrad, that there's some sort of procedure we have to go through to be cleared? I have a lot of access to the university. You're a librarian.
Yeah, perhaps we can go to the special section of the library and see if our credentials are sufficient for us to gain access to that. I can show them, my identification and, my educational background. And I'm sure, with you being a physician, we might have some pull.
I can concoct a lie that a client of mine is taking some sort of chemical concoction that he gleaned from a book, an ancient book called Al-Azif, and he won't tell me what's in it, and it's going to kill him.
Okay. No, I
Something
like
that.
this idea. Yeah.
So the reason why we need to see the book.
Yeah. And perhaps we can sneak around and try and find some other materials as well while we're in there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who wants to try and tell the story? Conrad, you want to try and, hey, I'm a librarian and I was wanting to look at this, or you want to go with Dr. Guzman's plan?
I think we'll try Dr. Guzman's, and I'll just kind of add support to it if we need to do like a roll. But
I'm going to say I don't know how to go about this, and you're a friend who's a librarian.
Helping out with
All right, Dr. Guzman, you can give me a combined medicine and either charm or fast talk. I'll let you pick which one.
Medicine is 85. I don't know why I even checked it. Charm is 65. I got 31. So
okay. Yep.
I got hard in both.
Nice. Um, oh, they go, oh, that sounds awful. Of course, I understand that, we keep them behind sealed doors and all. You're required to wear gloves
Yeah.
and like a little mask so your breath doesn't start breaking down the pages and
Is it
everything.
is it also acceptable you could tell us who has checked the book out in the recent past?
Oh, we don't allow the books to be checked out.
Oh, do you have a thing to sign for viewing?
Oh, yeah, yes, of course, we
Yeah.
have that. Yeah.
All right.
So-
So yeah, we'll go take a look.
Okay. All right. So when you get into the restricted section, there are lots of old books. Now, most of them, are they're here because they're old books
Sure.
and they're the only copy of it known. They're priceless. So you can give me a library use to find this book.
Oh wait.
Okay.
But
Yep, no problem.
Yeah, I passed mine too.
Okay. So as you kind of go along, you do see you find it. The binding is a leathery kind of a leather, but it looks like it's been aged, like it was not taken care of for a long time, and
I think I've got no, I don't have. That's another character who has book binding. Well, we'll bring it to a table where we can
Okay.
Very carefully go through it.
And I'm wondering if I could look at the log of people that had signed out on this book and see if I can copy those names.
Yeah, do you have probably be an accounting role almost?
I do have accounting, actually.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Never hurts to bring accounting into it.
Yes. I passed that.
Okay. You find that this book has not been looked at for probably over 7 years.
Is the book in Arabic or
when you
Syriac?
bring it over, the cover is written Al-Azif, then AKA Necronomicon, translated by what was that guy's name? Olus
Wormius?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olus Wormius, 1228 AD.
28. Okay.
And
it's in English?
Understand Latin?
It's in German.
It's in German.
He translated it into German.
But probably Middle High German,
Old German or High German.
Yeah. Okay. So when you I assume you're wearing all the protective stuff that they ask you to wear. So when you go to open it up, you notice that the binding slides off extremely easy. And underneath the pages inside you see is actually a copy of Newton's Principia.
Someone has stolen the book.
Alas.
We need to immediately alert the library. I'll immediately go out because I don't want us to be in here for an hour and then have the book be missing. So, Mr. Librarian.
You get the reaction. It's like, oh no, impossible. This book it's irreplaceable. He looks at this.
Perhaps
he's just shocked.
The last person who signed for it to look at it. Who was the last person?
Get my list of German names here. So we will say the last person to sign it out was a Johann Lieber.
But no,
Lieber.
But Grunau's name isn't anywhere on.
It is not.
List. Yeah.
But if it's been missing since the incident, that this is what was stolen.
Can I ask the librarian, is it possible that anyone could have gotten into this restricted section without signing the book?
he, he's like the only. He's like 5 years ago we had a break-in where one of our librarians was murdered, and
Yeah.
that would have been the
Yeah.
only way that he could have got in there.
I wonder if this is the book that was stolen.
Mhm, mhm. Do you know anything else about that case? I'm asking the librarian.
No, I mean, Inspector Krieg was looking into it, but he was unable to find any good leads to it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Scheiße.
Scheiße.
I will check with my contacts and see if we can get she says priceless, but this itself was just a translation. There must be other translations.
Yeah. So
Well, what would you like to do next?
I'm wondering because they had looked already at the origin of like the cat creature. They had looked up the like mythological origins of that already. Okay. Okay. So I likely probably wouldn't find anything else on that.
But we can spend a little time here and look and see, and the reason why I wanted to take a cab instead of the car is I still owe you an explanation for yesterday, and I'm willing to explain. I'll show you, but so I didn't want to bring the car and then have to leave the car here.
Oh,
But
okay.
we'll wait until we're ready. We can go back
Okay.
into my apartment.
all right.
I guess maybe one thing that I would want to look at is I want to see if like I can find any of like, maybe focusing sort of on just like the general kind of occult section on the face transfers and like if there's anything related to that
Okay.
history.
Digging through this section of the library to find something specific like that is going to take an extreme library.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I don't
you
know.
feel free to try it.
Time. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good use of time. And we're gonna meet with Alistair later, Mr. Crowley. So yeah, I think maybe I'll hold off on that.
But I'll do a cursory look to see if there's anything else in here that looks like it might actually be interesting at this point to me.
Okay. Sure. Give me we'll just go with classic spot hidden there.
Oh, okay. Then I failed.
Okay. Most of the titles are very hard to read because the bindings are old and all, and you feel like you could be here for days. And
yeah, red's that one. Yeah, that's obviously the Key of Solomon. The Abramelin operation.
All right. So Max and Gustav. You're going to go work the legal side of the brothels and all. So where were you going to head for that? Were you going to go to the police station,
I think
courthouse?
we're probably gonna go to the police station first. Maybe check the courthouse after. Trying to see have any like record of any crimes or events that happened at brothels that got recorded.
Okay. So you get there and you've had contacts with them before, so you coming in there and give me a
law roll or
how is your law? Yeah.
Like law's pretty good.
Okay, yeah. And with Max helping you, you can have a bonus die.
Oh, cool. In that case, that's a 12, which I think is a hard. So that's a hard success on the law roll.
So as you're kind of looking through there, you kind of find most of the complaints at the brothels are kind of what you would expect, men getting a little out of control.
Yeah.
But like my father said, the mafia bars where you always wanted to drink because no one really was committed a crime in a mafia bar because that's where you would get beat up.
Right.
So look, but was it an extreme or a hard?
A hard.
A hard? You do, because you probably paid a close attention to Salon Kitty references. You do notice there is a noticeable lack of any reports of people getting violent there.
Like they haven't been reported, or like they were taken out. Like maybe the records were taken out.
Either you could make either assumption.
Okay, but they're not here.
They're not here. Right?
All right. Thank you. What do you think, Max? What else? Any other ideas?
The only thing that actually, I was curious, and this is crazy, but it goes back to my experience. If there'd been any animal attacks recently, specifically from cats.
Good idea.
Okay.
Let's look into that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Get me another roll on that.
All right. Oh.
And Max, while he's doing that, Max, give me a luck roll.
Luck roll. Okay.
This can be a regular success.
Okay.
Yes, I passed that.
All right. Okay. So digging through there, not really. No one going, hey, I got attacked by a cat and called the police. If someone did it and got injured, they probably would have went to the hospital more than call a crime. Because the only reason someone would probably report an animal attack to the police was if they knew the owner. Because
Okay. Gustav, what do you think about maybe talking to, like, see if we could talk to, like, Officer Hark, who investigated Otto's friend? Or maybe, do you want to try talking to Inspector Krieg at all?
You think he would talk to us?
Well, probably not. We really don't have anything, actually.
The first idea might be a better one. It's worth giving a shot.
Yeah.
all right. So well, Max, will have you do a luck roll to see if Hark is here or if he's out on patrol.
No, he is.
He's not in. He'll be in later on this evening.
Okay.
While you were looking around, you do see Inspector Krieg sitting at his desk. He's got a cloud of smoke around him as he's essentially, when one cigarette's going out, he's lighting the next one with the.
Wow.
You want to give it a shot?
We're here. Why not?
All right. Go ahead. You start.
Okay. Well, I certainly don't want to show him the picture, that's for sure.
Have you met Krieg yet?
I don't. Did we meet Inspector Krieg?
I think Vogelshoik and Astrid were the two that talked to him before.
Okay.
So perhaps I could introduce you, and then you can start.
Yes, that would be fine. Yes.
So I'll walk up and I'll go, excuse me, Inspector Krieg, do you have a moment?
He's like, of course. He's like going, how can I help you? He's like,
Well,
you got the look of a bounty hunter.
Yes, Gustav Huberman. I believe we've crossed paths before. I don't know if we've officially got the chance to meet. But I figured I would introduce you here to my friend Max Hoffman. He's a reporter. He's helping us, one of our investigators, helping us right now try to get to the bottom of things. Figured I would introduce the two of you.
Oh,
They hadn't had a chance to meet yet.
It's wonderful to meet you. And he leaves a cigarette in his hand. He reaches up to shake it. And he's got the smokers, how their hands are all stained yellow. Shakes. It's like,
Yeah.
but you notice that his grip is actually kind of weak. Is not the confident grip that you would have expected from a senior police officer.
That's very nice to meet you, Inspector. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, it's no problem. Any time interaction I can have with the public, it's trying times in the city, but better days are ahead.
Yeah, so I'm curious about an old case that you worked several years ago, about a man that was murdered in a library.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's like, I somewhat remember that. Yeah, I was a librarian. I mean, that doesn't take a detective to make that jump in logic, of course, but yes, librarian. He was attacked with a knife, if I remember correctly.
no. Has there been any progress on the case? Have you found the murderer or any particular leads?
Unfortunately, no, we hadn't, and the cases kind of went cold, and it's went into the cold case files, and if you can't solve a murder in the first couple weeks, unfortunately, your odds of actually solving it go significantly down, and I hate that because the victims' families, they deserve justice, but
yes,
we don't have enough men.
Very unfortunate. I did come across a newspaper article. Do you know if there was anything stolen from the library? There must have been a reason the man was murdered.
If anything was stolen, the library never said that it was. The restricted section had been broken into, but I had to rely on their input that nothing was taken. I had never been into that section before. They were so sensitive about me going in there with a lit cigarette that
Silly, isn't it?
yeah, yes. I mean, these things are good for the lungs.
Yes, they are. They clear out all the bad humors. They certainly do. They certainly do. Have you maybe some more recent activities, perhaps? There have been some very strange suicides here recently.
When you say that, he kind of leans back in his chair, and you guys can give me a psychology roll.
You got a regular success, the 56.
I didn't get it. No.
Gustav, you get whereas before he was just being polite, you now have kind of gotten onto his radar that, hey, why are these people asking this question? And he sits back, he goes, yes. A lot of people are losing hope lately.
Yes. We had a friend of ours, a mutual friend of Gustav and I. A friend of his has committed suicide in a very strange manner, and we were looking into that particular.
What was this friend's name?
It
was Karl Heinz.
Karl Heinz, yes.
Oh, yes. I'll check it. Can I get your name and how I can contact you? So if I find anything out, I'd like to be able to locate you.
Certainly, and I will give him my address.
Like going, thank you. Like I'll be sure to put all my men on this.
Oh, is it that serious?
Well, I mean, a reporter's interested in into something. We want to keep up the public relations and all.
Oh, well,
law and order society is where it's at. That's what the Goebbels in the Reichstag says.
Oh, yes. Yes, we must maintain law and order. That's definitely important.
Exactly. I have a feeling we'll see each other again.
I think you're correct. Yes.
He gets up. You understand? I'm very busy. I'll be sure to
Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Gets up and quickly walks to back office.
I turn to Gustav and say, I think I made a mistake there.
Well, it seems we might have spooked him a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't quite realize that was going to happen, actually. I had no idea.
I mean, I didn't think we would get that far, honestly, so that's still better than what I expected.
Yes. I'm a little bit worried now, actually. I was just fishing for a little bit. I didn't expect to upset him quite so badly.
Well, you know what that means, though. He's either a sensitive man or we're onto something.
That's true. And he is definitely going to pay me a visit in the future, I'm sure.
I guess so.
Unfortunate or unfortunately, I really don't know very much about anything with Karl Heinz. And I think that is a good thing, and I will keep it that way.
All right, well, we tried.
Okay. So that probably took all of you a few hours to search through the records, talk to the various people about brothels, and Dieter and Conrad to dig through the restricted section. If you guys were wanting to meet back up in the afternoon, we'll say it's getting close to the time when you were going to meet back up.
Okay, so now, Conrad, I wanted to explain this to you. The way we got out of the theater is through the use of magic that I've constructed an object that allows. It's very difficult to explain. It's process. It's more science than it is magic, but as some have said, that magic is just science if we don't understand yet. So if we need to go, let's see, there's a back alley that nobody is walking at the moment. This object, it transfers us from one place to another through the fourth dimension. You might feel a little nauseous on the other end. It takes some getting used to. But we will move from here to there instantaneously. And the thunderclap happens here because the place where we occupy now will be a void, and the air will rush in like a thunderclap. And so nobody around.
Not so sure about this, Doctor.
It's perfectly safe. I've done it many times. It's a way we will be able to escape even the darkest prison. And I pull out my object. And I say, all you need to do is put your hand on it. And poof! Suddenly we're back in the apartment.
All right.
Oh, God. Oh. What do I need to roll?
You can roll...
Constitution.
Constitution to not get sick.
Okay.
There's a bucket on the floor right there.
He's puking for sure. Definitely failed that.
And also because
stomach.
Give me a sanity, but with a bonus die, because Dieter explained it to you, but there's a difference between having it explained to you and actually having it happen to you.
There might be that strange moment when we're traveling where we are spheres in a universe of objects, and i.e. dreams.
I did pass my sanity check.
All right, so no sanity loss from experience fourth dimensional travel.
And it makes my head hurt a little when we do this.
Feels like my stomach is turned inside out. Oh,
So if we
Doctor,
can
this
escape
is
from any place.
incredible. What an incredible tool that you've developed.
Well, I've figured it out from the some of the books. I'm kind of curious to see this Necronomicon, the Al-Azif. I'm going to send some telegrams to people that I know, maybe some collectors, which I'll do.
Yeah. All right.
The others should be back soon.
Okay. All right. And as alluded to by Dieter, if you guys chose to, you can meet back up at his house.
That's a bit about it, then.
Oh, yeah, maybe we go to the bailback and
Okay.
meet up
All
there.
right.
We'll go there too.
Conrad, when you leave Dieter's house, give me a spot hidden.
Did pass. It was a hard.
Oh, was it hard? So as you're leaving, you notice outside one of his ground floor windows, maybe there's like some soft dirt. You see some paw prints, and what grabbed your attention is that some of them almost look like they have human-like features to it. Not quite a handprint, but you got obviously the back cat claws, but the front almost like they have a human quality.
What do you see there, Conrad?
Doctor, look at this. Look at this dirt over here. It looks disturbed. Do you have these look like cat marks, like large cat prints and also human hands.
Yeah.
Could this be one of those cat creatures, or do you have people who live nearby that are wont to use this?
Yeah, no, this looks very bad. If they've found me, I forget what we all have in the safe.
I thought you put everything.
Yeah.
So documentation, yeah.
Do we need it for the meeting with Crowley? No.
It could be useful. I mean, more stuff that you can actually reference to instead of just.
Well, if it's in my hands, then the cats can't break any, unless they could pick a safe with their little hands.
Cat burglar. I never heard of a cat burglar.
Oh.
They're the worst kind.
Perhaps you should take your documents with you and
yeah, I'll put it in a leather valise that I'll carry with me.
Doctor, I haven't known you and your friends for very long. Are you all armed? Based off of the events of last night, I'm fearful for my safety.
Well,
and all of our safety.
I am a little skilled in firearms, but I don't normally carry a gun. I'm a doctor. Perhaps, yeah, we'll discuss it with the others.
Okay.
Whether we should all arm up.
Based off of the events of last night and then this, I'm worried that dark forces are converging.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a pacifist, that doesn't extend to self-defense.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, let's go talk to them.
All right. So you guys meet back up at the Beerbakta.
My gentlemen. So the book Al-Azif was stolen. The cover is still there, but the book inside of it is the what's his name's Newton's principles of
Mm-hmm.
So we think that that's what the man was murdered for.
Oh.
Nobody has looked at the book in 7 or 8 years, so that must have been what happened. I have colleagues looking for a copy don't know if there's such a thing.
Well, I think we know where to find a copy. You have to meet Herr Grunau, who seems not even that shy about carrying it around with him, despite... Do we think then that he is capable of murder to begin with?
I don't know yet, but yeah, these pieces are starting to fall together.
Either he killed for it or he acquired it
Had
from
somebody killed for it, yeah.
This is strange, eccentric behavior for an amateur filmmaker.
Well, I mean, if this document has any semblance of power that that the doctor has demonstrated to me,
You did it, Dieter. Aha.
even a small sliver of which I'm sure there are many forces that would love to have even a fraction of that power.
I thought I heard a pop about a half an hour ago. Yeah. Conrad, I think maybe have an extra schnitzel or something to settle the
Yeah, it was
Conrad's
quite
a little
terrible.
green.
Yeah, that was quite an awful experience. My stomach shall never be the same.
Well, I can tell you this. Salon Kitty was one sort of place and has become another sort of place. So owner is Kitty Schmidt, which means anything in the world. Obviously, that could be any name. They don't hire local talent. And the last regular girl who worked there stopped when they began, let's say, ritual exercises that the working girls were compelled to take part in. So I don't know if this is where Karl-Heinz was, but we definitely have the source of some ritual activity.
Yeah.
What's it means about the envelope from there? Is there a defector? Or is Lena working with them? This is a question I'm not sure of.
When you say that they don't hire local, do they import their prostitutes?
For all I know, they grow them in the cellar using ritual magic. Just as they are not operating under normal. For the last year, they don't bring any new women in.
Now, it wouldn't be the first time that people with knowledge of the dark forces were selling their wares to others, maybe the Nazis, and they're getting something from these women other than just sexual pleasure.
Asa knows very well the sexual impulse is the strongest psychic force perhaps in the human beings. So
we should have to talk with Crowley about all that, really. Yeah. Of course, it may be, we'll see what Crowley's like. Apparently, he does have some abilities with the face thing. But he could be following that old adage, those who know don't say, and those who say don't know.
Yeah, also sometimes there is, there are lucky fools, there are one-trick ponies. He makes an awful spectacle of himself for someone who is very esoteric, but...
Maybe he wants people to think he's a little crazy so that he can get away with taking people's faces.
Yeah, I also would think of Anita Berber, who was not the source, but the lightning rod for these forces, because she was
conduit.
So interesting. It makes you want to go out and have sex and see what happens.
Max, Gustav, how was the above board?
Well, we didn't find much. It was interesting in that there was no records of any crimes having to do with the brothels, as if they were not reported or they were not, they were taken away, like they were redacted and they're no longer there.
Yeah, sounds like they got the police in their back pocket.
For any of the brothels?
For any of them.
No, all the other brothels besides Salon Kitty had like some reports of men getting violent, and it was only Salon Kitty
But
that
yeah,
you.
Salon Kitty had nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I happened to ask about the suicides with Inspector Krieg, and I made him very nervous.
Oh.
Well, at least you tell the name and where you live, huh?
Max?
Well, he probably knows where we all live.
I mean,
As the police.
Max, you can come stay with me temporarily if you need to.
they do have records of that thing, I suppose.
Yes, I mean, I was very confused by the situation. So, because
Well,
he took
how
it
many-
very seriously, and I found that to be quite odd, actually.
Mm. Berlin must have what, 6,000 people named Max Hoffmann. So in this regard, you're easy to needle in a haystack yourself if he is unfriendly. And also makes me think maybe I should visit one of my friends who's good with the photographic equipment, and we make some reproductions of our friend Inspector Krieg and his dog position with his poodle friend.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
seems like a kind of, if each of us had this on a card in the pocket, maybe we have a out of jail free card.
We have a
Yeah.
get out of jail literally free card.
Only one at a time, and only if we are alive to touch your magic cue ball.
Might not be a bad idea to have some potential
Yeah.
blackmail for Spectre.
We just have to focus down away from the other
Yeah.
individuals at the party and get a nice copy of Krieg with his paws down. I wonder if we send him a reproduction of just this part of the photograph to a private address, how he would respond. Did he seem to you a man of absurd question. I was going to ask if he seemed like a man of unusual sexual appetites, as if first of all you could tell, and second he's a police officer, of course.
I did get the impression he's a very big fan of Goebbels.
Okay, so we're getting a sense of the teams that people are on, and that is why this naked party is so strange. We have very strong antithetical parties. Dieter, you're thinking very hard.
I'm trying to take it all in. I'm trying to explore the wild and crazy possibilities. We don't the cat things. We saw tracks of a cat outside the house where I live. That looked a little too human. It's one of the reasons why I brought this with us, so that I wouldn't leave it alone there without me being there. I thought also maybe Crowley could take a look and see if if we find that we can trust him. For all we know, he might be behind all of this. But
I don't know why he would go through the trouble of helping Lena. I don't know, but there's still so much that we don't know. This Mr. Crowley seems like a man of mystery anyways, so hopefully we're able to secure some information from him, useful information.
yeah.
All right. So, anything you want to do before your meeting?
Yeah, if you have the material with you, Guzman, then I think I visit one of my friends who does photographic
Photography.
documentation. Maybe we
All right.
take an image of the film piece that we can reproduce. We get a negative and a few positives of this.
Yeah, you should be able to do that.
Maybe a copy of the original of all of us, and then we also take the snapshot of the good inspector for each of us to have a little in the pocket. Do we think we're asking to get murdered if we have this in our wallet and we get stopped? Is this insurance or is this a death warrant? I'm uncertain. Anyway, we could talk to. We can arrange something with my friend Bertold, and he keeps his mouth very quiet about things. If you did a passport, also a little more expensive, but.
I keep trying to put this all in context. That the woman had the Lena Desmond had the folder. She was being chased by, I'm going to say familiars, because they weren't really cats, they were something else. Obviously somebody, maybe she's the one who stole these from the brothel. And
she could put them in the envelope from the kitty, salon kitty herself, and made up the story. Conrad, would you call the institute and see if she's awake yet? It's probably so it's late after 2 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But
I want to make sure she wakes up.
There's somebody who is hunting her, and they want that photograph back. So what if the photograph is a blackmail against one of these two men, maybe Craig or say Hellman? Yeah,
well,
we still don't know.
Why Leon is in it or we are in it, or how it could have been made.
Yeah.
Unless it is a photograph that is promotional material for the film Das Necronomicon, which has fallen through your fourth dimension in one of your, maybe it's not a cube this time, maybe it's a...
Don't laugh. Maybe there is some sort of time travel that I know nothing about, but...
In which case we are under the spell of something that has us disporting ourselves with these unfortunate, these vile figures.
It makes me want to once again pull that photograph out as I'm handing it off, and looking really carefully. Is it really us, or is it somebody who just really looks like us? Does it have a mole right here on the face of my character? Here, and
yeah.
Good question.
Well,
it looks like it is you. There is.
Yikes.
My friend Bertold, who makes the reproductions, he's an expert at making some photograph look like another photograph, and if he thinks it's real, then it is suggestive.
All right, by all means.
Also, if we all go together, then we don't get jumped on by Puss in Boots and killed in the street.
I wanted to ask, I had asked the doctor earlier, do any of you gentlemen carry a firearm?
This cane of mine has a very good blade at the end, and
I saw you use it to great effect last night. It's quite swashbuckling of you. Your regular Errol Flynn. I don't know if he was around at the time. Never mind. That might be anachronistic.
He was. We'll say
Heinrich Flynn.
Yeah. I have a pistol and I have a rifle at home. That's a rifle we actually had from last time. That I never got rid of.
You can't really hide a rifle, but you can have a pistol.
Right, exactly. But I still have that martini rifle from before.
I fear that we may need to use it, and it makes me sick to my stomach, almost as sick as the doctor's cube. Let me go check on Lena. I'll give a call to the Institute and see if I can get a hold of her.
Okay. When you call the Institute, they go to check on her, and they come back and oh yeah, she is awake, and she's just putting on her I was gonna say putting on her face, putting on her makeup, but that kind of has a putting on her makeup.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of hold the phone off. Should we go to meet her there? Or should we have her come here?
But what's most convenient, since we are also going to Crowley's?
But that's not until later, right? And it's
Yeah, that's going to
kinda
be like
early.
at night.
No, let's go by there.
Okay. Yeah, we can just hang out over there. Okay. If you could just tell the good Fraulein to wait there for us, we'll be there in momentarily.
Oh, okay, yeah, no problem.
Danke.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. Otto, your contact is able to make the photographs that you need. It'll take a bit because he's got to do whatever they did to copy photographs.
Yeah, he's got to make salt baths and
Yeah.
red lights and things.
Yeah.
And he does, of course, he thinks that the photograph is genuine.
Yeah, when you first showed it to him, he's like, "Oh, it looks like you had a good party."
It does look that way, yeah. I don't like these people, and I don't remember the party. And sometimes I forget a party, but not usually one with men in leashes. Can he also make a reproduction of the film piece?
The film strip?
Yeah.
No, he could like if it's held up to the light, he could take a picture and recreate a picture of it, but like to actually recreate the film strip, no.
Right, but he can. Yeah, he can shine light through it, make a negative, and
Yeah.
So it's good to have a few copies, I think. So yeah, I'll take 5 of each, and the special Krieg, 5 of the Krieg photo and 1 of the whole thing. I thought as few of those on the street as I could get.
Yeah.
Get around and make sure that Bertolt destroys that negative.
Okay. Get you all wallet size of Krieg to carry.
I think that I would like to go and visit a little shop. If anybody wants to come with me, I think I would like a small gun. Perhaps a Derringer. Just something small, so that if I get attacked by a cat, I can kill the cat. Not that I would ever kill a cat. I know the warnings, but I don't think they're cats.
Okay.
So maybe there are a couple of people who want pistols. I think I don't really know how to use one, so.
I don't know how to use one either. I just wanted to know that other people could use them.
When the bad guy grabs you, you pull out the gun, put it against his head, and you pull the trigger. Yeah, so I'll get a little Derringer, 22.
There's no problem.
Derringer's 22, isn't it?
Yeah. I have to look that up. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we're going to head over to
the Institute of Sexology. Okay. When you get there, Lena is there. Her body doesn't look like she's as exhausted and everything. Everyone can make a spot hidden when you're looking at her.
Oh.
I got a regular success.
regular success.
Mine is hard.
Yeah, I got a hard success.
With regular success, her face looks a little different. With hard, you recognize that she's caked on the makeup heavier today than she did yesterday. Noticeably thicker.
Maybe maybe the flesh is less springy than it was before.
It could be a good assumption.
Okay. So, Fräulein, you are feeling better, I hope.
I'm rested. I think I slept if 14, 15 hours. I'd never slept so well so long. Thank you, Conrad. It was the best rest I've had in weeks.
Of course, I'm glad that you're somewhere safe and were able to get rest. You looked completely drained when we first met you.
I felt drained. It's like, so how goes the mystery?
Well, it's very strange.
It's mysterious, sir.
Yes. It's like you understand why I was kind of hitting a brick wall, so to speak. Just could not make any progress. And why I was following you is almost desperation. I thought, oh, maybe you knew something.
Well, you've pulled us into this this whirlpool with you, but I still have hope that we'll be able to figure this out and hopefully to get more information about your about Agnes as well.
Yeah, I do hope so too.
The envelope from Salon Kitty. Do you
Yes.
get familiarity with the place at all?
No, I've covered it from when being a reporter and everything, but I never been a clientele of it.
Can we use psychology to see if we think
Sure.
that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm embarrassed to say it's 007. That's another really good role.
Nice. She seems like she seems like she's truthful. You get a feeling like it.
She does have two faces though, so be careful.
That's true. She is two-faced.
Well, and she wasn't necessarily lying if she said she's never been a client of theirs. She could have been a
Yeah.
prostitute of theirs.
Employee.
So when you were writing about it, did you ever meet Kitty Schmidt?
Oh yes, I met her. She's she was very happy to give an interview. She's she grew up poor here in the city of Berlin, and she's really made made her place in the world becoming the madame of the brothel.
Mm-hmm. Did she attribute this success to any particular good fortune or connection or religious impulse or other?
She mostly said that it's all in who you know and who you meet and whose palms you grease.
Yeah, that makes sense in her business, certainly. How long ago were you working on this piece?
Oh, it was a few years ago.
Do you think Fraulein, is she a Frau or a Fraulein Schmidt?
Which one's the unmarried one?
Fraulein.
She's a Fraulein.
Do you think you're, doesn't matter, that question. Do you think you are still on good enough terms with her that she would respond well to an interview with you again?
If I presented myself as doing a public relations piece, I'm sure she would. She seemed very, at the time, she seemed very interested in, advertising that, hey, this was a great boon for the neighborhood and that was bringing in a lot of money. People would spend their money in the area.
A high-class joint. And in fact, it could be a positive piece for her if it turned out so. I'm curious. I was trying to find out what I could about it, and it seems as though not only the clientele has become very specific, but also the staff. It seems as though Fräulein Schmidt has not hired any new girls for a long time. And there's new practices in the house.
Oh, I hadn't heard of that. I if you want, I could ask her about it.
I think that would be very helpful. And perhaps, do you think it would be helpful if one of us came with you, or would it be better for something you did on your own?
Oh, well, it's always good to have maybe someone that's a photographer. I'm not skilled in picture taking.
I can take a few photographs.
Oh, that'll be excellent.
Fellow
I
journalist.
keep late hours, as most of us do in the demi-monde. But if you could arrange an interview tomorrow, perhaps?
I will reach out.
That's very kind of you. Perhaps it will help us discover the source of this envelope that has caused us all such mystery.
That'd be nice. So, make note of that.
So yeah, and so are you still interested in revisiting Herr Crowley tonight when we are to have dinner with him late?
Oh, I'd be happy to go with you.
Good. It's always nice to have.
Yeah, certainly. Lena, and remind me again, how did you and Herr Crowley meet?
I met him at a we were both dining at the same restaurant and I knew who he was, and being I approached him as a reporter and I was under a lot of stress and I just confessed that someone was after me and he said that, hey, I might have a way that can help you out.
Okay. He's quite well known. Did you just know about him because of his celebrity, or do you have an interest in his? Yeah,
I knew about him because of his celebrity. He's not afraid to advertise.
Yes, he seems like quite the aggrandizer. Yeah.
How long was it between when you met him at the restaurant and he could assist you with the transformation?
Couple weeks, because it was just shortly after the envelope came through my mail slot that I ran into him. If I'd run into him before, I don't know what I would have done. I wouldn't have been troubled enough to even mention that I needed some way to hide.
Of course. It is strange, is it not, how these things snowball together. Once one strange thing happens, then
yeah, it's some would call it fate.
And when you said you were following us, how did you find the first of us from the photograph to follow?
Chance, I guess, is the best. I was out wandering the night. I didn't feel safe going home, and there was a large crowd at Luna Park. And next thing I know, I saw you guys standing there.
You recognized us immediately from the photograph.
Well, I had to get it out to reference, but it was one of those, when you see something like, oh, you're like, oh, why do I remember that? And you can somewhat place it, but you want to make sure. I got out the photograph and I was like, oh, it's them.
And then you dropped the folder because you were bumped into?
Well, I bumped into you. Well, actually, it was Conrad that I bumped into, and when I fell down, I saw one of the cat things,
Yeah.
and I had to get out of there.
Do you think if you had just put the envelope back in the mail and sent it to a distant cousin in Stuttgart, that maybe the cats would leave you alone?
I hadn't thought of it. To be honest with you, I mean, if I hadn't opened the envelope, maybe the cats would have never bothered me. Also, there's a
It's all very mysterious. There are actors here that we do not understand and cannot see. Are you well enough to have a beer and schnitzel with us, the Beobachter?
Oh, yes, of course, but I don't want to have too much. I understand we're having dinner this evening.
Yeah. What time is Crowley already? I think it's 9 o'clock or something, lunatic.
Yes.
So we have some time.
What do we want to, let's think about it beforehand. What do we want to talk to Crowley about? I think maybe we should ask about the face.
There are things we want to discuss. Even as we walk to the Beobachter, we're going to have to take turns with Lena, so we can have little side conversations. And some of them are about, what to say to Crowley. We don't show him the photograph until we get some indications.
Yeah.
I have this sneaking suspicion that his face transformation skill is somehow related to the photo. Like it's somehow related to our faces showing up in that photo. I don't know why, but I have this. I don't know if he'll be able to shed any light on that, but perhaps he may know how that could have happened.
I'm sorry.
There's so many.
In the photograph, is everyone naked?
No, just Inspector Krieg.
Oh, so we're clothed.
Yep.
Do we recognize the clothes that we're wearing?
Yep, they're clothes that you have in your
And
wardrobe.
all of our respective heights are correct.
Yes.
It's us, but how?
And Helmdorf is in uniform, or he's in casual civilian clothes?
Picture again. He is wearing a suit.
And Max was attacked by the cats. What if we have done something and somehow they have put a magic spell upon us so that we don't remember any of it? It's crazy, but we've seen some crazy things.
How would we have lost that time though? I keep a journal. I would have known if.
Have you checked to make sure that there wasn't you don't suddenly remember a 12-hour gap or something in your.
I can certainly examine my journals, but I'm sure someone would have noticed if I was absent from the library for that amount of time.
I think say even for those of us who are more erratic in their day-to-day behavior, if the 5 of us were all missing a Tuesday at the same time, we'd have noticed.
Yeah.
Unless.
See, it's a Beobachter. Oh, that's because I have no idea.
Unless they were not only able to erase our minds, but to implant memories.
What a horrifying thought, Doctor.
My friend Murnau once said that he makes movies. He says he's in the business of creating memories.
Yeah.
And that's interesting.
So
Yeah.
FWR now stands for what again?
Frederick.
Friedrich Wilhelm? Never mind, doctor. Yeah, the memory recreation is a thing. I also, maybe we look very closely at maybe it was a magnifying glass at our hairlines and stubble and Fräulein Leon's hair. How long was her hair? She probably is in always a changing mode.
It might have only taken them an hour to use us for some purpose and then let us go. Do you think carefully? Was there any moment when you thought that maybe you had taken you had ablutions, and then you found yourself much dirtier than you should have been, and some anomaly in our, I don't know. We could
speculate about this endlessly, Doctor.
We could.
Fear that our minds will get lost in the morass of that horror that you're presenting. If Herr Crowley is able to meld or transpose a face onto another human being, perhaps there are some magics that allow for complete recreations to be put on someone else.
I mean, Dieter underwent a complete transformation of sorts.
Yeah, but
it's possible.
I switched bodies. It's also possible, there's a good German word for it, doppelganger.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's the term I've been mulling over in my head. But that's just a myth. That's just a story.
Yeah, but if you could place your own henchman in the place of the the leader of the country,
it would be a massive, at the very least, a very massive propaganda tool. Our minds went immediately to blackmail.
But why us?
That. But
that's the real question. Why us?
Why us? Why Inspector Krieg?
We are certainly not important people. We're important to each other, but in the grand scheme of things.
Neville Chamberlain up in the UK or Franklin Delano Roosevelt in America? That would be certainly a major coup to put him in a compromising position.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mind-boggling. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, you guys make it back to the beer Bachton. Were you wanting to do anything while there, or just have a afternoon meal?
Is there anything we want to hold back from telling Crowley or showing him? Certainly our pasts. Maybe not so much our past. Maybe we tell him a little bit about the weird stuff.
Yeah, maybe we
indicate
new Anita Berber at the end, and we let it a little linger. Maybe see what he knows. We don't show him any of our proof until we feel as if we can trust him. And I don't know if we will feel that we can trust him in one evening.
Right. I imagine that a lot of people come up to him and ask him questions, and he might think once again that we're just fans, as they say in the Americas.
Oh.
So we have to get something to hook him in.
Yeah, well, it seems like a free meal is enough to hook him a little bit, and of course he knows Lena.
Yeah.
So we have two connection. I wouldn't show him your cube, Doctor.
No.
Does anyone And again, these are asides over a couple of hours of. I mean, Lena hasn't eaten since she was asleep for 14 hours, so we give her. And have you all noticed that her face is not so fresh?
I wonder if it's not permanent.
Yeah.
Does this mean she
Helps.
has to kill another woman, or
Does she have her own face underneath? Or
right? If the cats are no longer chasing her, could she go back to her face?
cats have human faces? What if the
Cats-
side effect is that you turn into one of those things? If you put the face of another person on your face?
Ah,
I didn't think she looked any furrier today, but I just want to get back to the table.
Maybe she only gets furry. It's the light of the moon. Or cat lycanthrope.
So we'll just so you guys kind of just ponder and discuss throughout the day. If there's nothing significant you want to do, we can fast forward to meeting the Great Beast, and he's wanting to meet up outside the Babylon Cinema.
Oh,
Do you want
Nice.
to put the documents back in your safe, Guzman, or do you feel better with them on your person?
I think I feel better with the Valais. In case you decide we would like to show him some of this.
And
Yes.
walking through the streets of Berlin, we have not seen any stalking felines with Roman noses.
Nope.
And I'm
Do they only
carrying
annoy
the fillets, like this, so that it's not hanging or anything.
Yeah.
Nobody can grab it.
Conrad's turned into a cat.
I'm sorry, Otto, I cut you off. What were you saying?
No, I think
Okay. All right. So the nights is it's a light snow falling down when you get to the Babylon Cinema. It's a large movie house, a five-story building constructed in a modernist style. As you're kind of sitting there waiting, you see this man come out the building.
Yeah,
He's
that's it.
dressed. Yep, he's got his pipe that he's constantly puffing on, and he looks at you all, and he's like going, nice place, isn't it? I'll miss it. I need to head to England in a few days.
Huh. What movie was playing?
Oh, I wasn't. I was just enjoying some of the nightlife.
Huh.
He's like going, but enough chit chat. I believe you promised me dinner.
Yeah, you play dinner. Is there any particular place you like?
There is. He's like, what was the name of it? He's like, I'd like to go to the Romanash Cafe. It's crosstown.
Cafe. Yeah.
Great.
Goes,
Let's hail a cab.
He's like, and I'll to show you that I'm not taking advantage of you. I'll pay for the cab if we all take one.
Oh, it's not necessary. We've,
Oh,
you're our guest.
it's like,
We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us, Herr
Is
Crowley.
Lena with us? Yeah.
yes. Yep.
You'll remember Miss Desmond.
Oh, you know, Miss Desmond, the disguise doesn't work as well if you tell people your actual name. She's like, I'd met them before. They're not the ones I was worried of.
Yeah.
Herr Crowley. It's like, this should be an interesting conversation if you already know some of my abilities.
Yes.
But come, let's go. The night is cold.
Yes.
You guys get into a taxi, and it's taking you taking you across town. While you're going across town, you see maybe a couple blocks off to the east, you see the Kaiser Wilhelm term spire that you was in the dossier. And you notice Lena's kind of looking at it as you go by. But they get you to the building. Inside the interior is a grand 3-story space lit by skylights arranged in a geometric pattern. He goes, we'd like a private room. Oh, of course. Anything for a celebrity. He goes, being with me is already paying off, you can see, yeah?
Indeed, yeah, if you're quite a celebrity. I've read a number of your books.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear. Good to hear. Any thought of joining my beliefs?
Oh, the Selima? Is that what it is? Well, we'll see. We might have a conversation.
Goes, well, have a seat and bring us several bottles of wine. Oh, he sits down and he's like going, yeah, well, I think I might have found some funding for my movie. That's why I'm going to be headed out of town. Want to make a movie, The Testament of Magdalene Blair. So, yes, it is. I mean, if you were interested in investing, it'd be, of course, a great boon for you to do. But imagine if you could read others' minds and that your loved one dies. What would you find when you read the mind of someone's passing? What would you see what they see when they die?
Are you able to see what they see die? Or is this just
well, I mean, in my film, of course you would, or else it wouldn't be a interesting thing. I could demonstrate why all the Judeo-Christian religions are just a fraud.
Yeah.
This film is sort of a thought experiment in this regard.
Well, yes, yeah.
Everyone, it seems, is quite movie mad these days. Is this the first attempt you've made to film a cinema object?
Oh no, no! I've been trying to get into the film business for a long time. It seems like that's a better way to spread your knowledge nowadays. People reading is on the way out. People are going to be done reading in a few years once the talkies become fully online.
Have you seen The Student of Prague?
Oh yes, I have. I deal with the devil.
Yeah. I recently obtained a very rare. I'm kind of into collecting. I like cinema. I like the movies very much. I have I carry it around with me as a kind of a good luck sort of thing. I have a piece of splice from that very movie.
Oh,
I'm good friends with Murnau.
Oh, you are. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Maybe you could introduce me to him, and I mean, we'd have to do it soon because I'm headed out of this country. But
I can certainly try. Yeah. Here you'll see it's 2 frames from the middle of the movie, and he's used some more advanced film media here. You can see. It is, I believe, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name all of a sudden.
Agnes Esterhazy.
Agnes Esterhazy, yeah. It's Agnes, and there's somebody standing behind him, but we can't quite make that out.
He's like, yeah. Yes, if you remember from the movie, this is looks like it came from the scene where the her husband, of course, had struck the bargain with the devil, and she was one of the prices that he was giving up, and that looks like the devil coming to. It's a rather interesting that you could come with. It's feels thicker than most movies.
Yeah, that's what I was told when I bought it. But yeah, it's been kind of a keepsake. I was hoping to meet her. I haven't. She hasn't been heard of in a while. Please, you can give that back to me now.
Oh, there you go. Yes. Now, last I had heard, she was working with that Baron Gronow. He's the one that financed that film.
Yeah, he's making some other Schreckfilm.
Oh, yes. I think I remember hearing about that. Yeah. I could never get a meeting with him to try and sell him my movie. He was obsessed with making his movie.
Yeah, sometimes one finds, I think, a creative person finds a story and they fixate on it and can only think of this. We understand that the text that he has been thinking about obsessively is called Al-Azif.
Look at this guy's stats.
Yeah, we're going to use psychology to see if he freaks out.
Oh, he's like, he thinks he's going to make a movie based on a forbidden book, huh?
You are familiar with this text?
Oh yes. The church in one of its wisdoms tried to stamp out the knowledge and history of this book, but fortunately, saner minds prevailed and made sure that this could be passed on for others to read. If I remember right, there's a copy of it here in the Berlin Library.
Is there?
What this was, yeah.
Oh, was?
Yeah, it appears to no longer be in the restricted library.
Oh, the Pope must have finally been able to influence the government.
Actually, there was a break-in a number of years ago. And,
fanatics. Then
that's
the best explanation. Yeah. And you were wanting to do a psychology?
Yeah, just to see.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't fail. I mean, I didn't pass.
Okay.
I have an extreme success.
Extreme success? Yeah, he's being open kimono, just telling you exactly. I mean, you get the classic, hey, he's a salesman.
Yeah, he's obviously selling a movie that he wants to make.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you change Miss Desmond's face?
He's like, well, it is it's a ritual I learned when I was journeying in the Himalayas. I found this old. This woman, she was quite beautiful, but she wouldn't let you approach her. She was always had a black fan with her, and she taught me the spell. I mean, magic is real, and she taught me the spell. But she said that we could only use it in the most dire of situations because it requires a human flesh.
And you used it to film a movie.
Oh, no, not to film a movie. No, but it's a good idea for a movie.
He used it to change Miss Desmond's face.
Mm-hmm.
What was your original reason for changing her face?
Oh, she asked.
Hmm.
You
It
know,
was in danger.
I'm not a man to hide knowledge from others. I mean, suppressing knowledge is the move of tyrants, not of enlightened folks such as ourselves.
Hmm. Well, you very likely, saved this poor woman. So, we're very grateful for that. I'm sure Miss, Fraulein Desmond is as well. Your powers are quite exceptional.
Well, this I am aware of.
You mentioned something earlier about reading the mind of a dead person or a dying person.
Mm-hmm.
Is this we've seemed to have gotten wrapped into something. It's one of the reasons why we wanted to speak with you.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that there is such a thing as a doppelganger?
Oh.
I mean,
I would say that is a very real possibility. I mean, there's like Miss Desmond here, she described some type of creature with a cat face, which I told her sounded like from my studies, a homunculus or a clipoth.
oh yeah.
What do you know about those beings?
Oh, well, that they are the manifestation of sometimes they could be a manifestation of pure hatred and anger to create a living being that can grow into an imitation of a human.
Yeah, God.
It's almost like the antithesis of normal birth, right? Creating it without reproduction or without sex.
Right, yeah. It's theorized that these creatures would be sexless. They have no genitalia, no anatomy. I mean, what a horrible way to live. You would just get angrier and angrier, not being able to ever experience the joys and the power that comes from being with someone or many people at the same time.
Yeah, Conrad would be out of a job. He works
Oh,
at the sex clinic.
doing important work.
Yeah. Perhaps I can introduce you to Dr. Hirschfield once he comes back from his travels.
Oh,
He would be very interested to meet you. But
most people are.
this topic very much interests us. This idea of of sex magic, and I know that you're renowned in this area. Do you think that might be related to these creatures that have been stalking Fraulein Desmond and also my compatriots and I?
Well, I would have to research it, but I mean, just thinking about I mean, they're creatures of anger and hate. I mean, forgive me, Miss Desmond, but it almost have to be a forcible act if they were using sex magic to get that kind of anger.
You mean the rape?
Yes.
I hadn't thought of the clip off. You're thinking you don't think like what is it, familiars like witches supposedly have, and they're cats.
Well, I mean, the by tradition, cats have been associated with witches, and as we've discovered, a lot of these traditional beliefs are based in historical fact. And yeah, I could see witches. There's much
But they don't
pagan
usually
knowledge.
have the human faces.
Ah,
Everything keeps coming back to faces.
yeah, it could just be sanitized by the church that they didn't want to admit there was going on.
I'm looking over at like Otto and the others. Like, should we show him all of the stuff?
I have a question also for you, Herr Crowley. Regarding to sexual magic, you addressed the fact that is potentially violence or coercion. What about the theft of sexual magic or stealing through, for example, you may have read in the local paper the rash of suicides in Berlin recently.
Yes, yes.
Some of it is certainly an economic situation, but also it has become clear to me that many of the victims seem to be men who have visited brothels recently, perhaps some brothels more than others. If there were an arena of sexual activity that performed rituals to manipulate the sexual energies, is there some way, not necessarily to create Dietrich's cats, but to perform some other magics?
Well, I mean, it would a brothel would be an ideal place. It'd almost be like a limitless battery of energy because it's constantly being built up through the sex act, and there are always new men coming in. I mean, just constantly building it up, and then who knows what you could achieve with that much power accumulated. You could do almost anything you wanted.
Is there a ritual or practice or book that you know that relates to that particular structure of magical building?
Probably the best book on the subject would be the one I wrote, which is available to purchase.
But could a person be turned into a clip-off, a homunculus? Genitals.
Possibly, it wouldn't actually be a clip-off then, because it would have been more of almost a construct that you were a flesh golem to, for lack of a better term, maybe melded together. But like,
that's the Jewish clay creature. Yeah.
Before you present some materials, I want to make sure that Herr Crowley is away from Crowley and Lena when I ask. It seems as though her face is deteriorating. Is her original visage still available under there? Is there a counter ritual?
There is a counter ritual to undo it. Also, it is dead flesh. It tends to give away because it needs to be constantly rejuvenated with blood.
Is she fully have you informed her completely about necessities?
I did when I taught her, but she was quite stressed at the time, and people tend not to remember all the intricate instructions.
Yeah, perhaps since the animals are no longer pursuing her, we should make sure that you do the counter ritual before she is stuck with a decaying mask. Perhaps even after dinner if you have time. I have.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
I could assist with that, of course.
You're very kind. And I will take Lena off and let the chips fall where they may.
Okay.
No. So You are a man who has experienced the strange and bizarre. Uh, you're educated, you're well read.
Ah, yes.
You know a great deal about sex magic.
Oh, more than anyone.
We are not just simple inquirers. We have been investigators into the dark mysteries of the universe for many years now. And there was a number of incidents that brought us together many years ago. Do you recall Anita Barber?
Oh,
Is that her
yes,
name?
yes.
Anita Barber?
Berber.
Anita Barber.
Oh, yes. I knew of her. I never met her.
I think Otto put it really nicely the other day. She was a lightning rod of sexual magic.
Hmm. I could see that.
And there was a horror that was released in Berlin back then. You could verify most of this with newspaper clippings, but we were directly involved. Part of it began with what was his name, Grossman, who was quite insane and unfortunately using some very dark magic with dolls and stuff. Anyways, we work to prevent all this from happening, and now many years have gone by, and we are starting to see more sexually related stuff and suicides that are on the rise, and something is terribly, terribly wrong. Miss Desmond here was collecting information, which she inadvertently dropped, and we picked up stuff that we cannot explain.
See?
For instance, do you know who this is? And I'll pull out the picture of what's her name? Elizabeth.
Agnes.
Agnes.
Yes. I know that is Agnes Esterhazy. She was in that film.
And she seems to be kind of disappeared. We're looking for her. Lena is actually her sister, right?
Oh, cousin.
We also have we recently got to meet this one. I'll show him the picture of Margot.
That's the picture with all of you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm building up to that.
Okay, yeah.
I'll show him the other stuff. The picture of Kaiser Wilhelm's thing, and
it's a postcard. So he's like,
yeah,
okay, cool.
So this last one, and I'll put the picture kind of on the table in front of him, with my hand over the top of it, and I say it's quite shocking, but to be perfectly honest, we don't know where this came from, and it certainly isn't anything that we participated in, and yet here we are. And I'll let him take a look at it.
He looks at it. He's like, "Well, I could tell you where this picture was taken. This is taken at the Hanussen's residence, Jan Hanussen. That's him right there." And he points at the guy holding the poodle.
Jan Hanussen.
Yes.
We don't know who that is, and we've never been to his house, and we've never been into a sex party.
Oh, I mean, you've obviously been to his house. There's a picture of you there. I mean,
but that's the thing.
Oh,
we know now who these people are because we had to identify them, but we don't have any recollection whatsoever.
Yeah.
We don't have any missing time or.
That is interesting. And it's Eric Jan Hanussen. I missed the Eric portion when I said his name. He goes, He's like, well, he's an interesting man, a bit of a psychic, if you will. I went to some of his readings, and some of it are obviously just cold readings, how psychics throughout history have been able to convince others. But there were some things that he knew that were I couldn't figure out how he did it, and it makes me wonder if he does have a connection to the spirit world.
Well, I don't know how we got this picture.
He does regular seances. If you want, I could arrange for you to attend one.
That'd be interesting.
Hmm.
If he recognizes us.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'll arrange that, and I'll have the invitations sent to. Let's not be handing out our residences to people we've just met. You said your Conrad works for the Institute of Sexology.
Yes,
I'll
you
have
can
it.
send it to
I'll have it sent over there. That way, it's all simple and taken care of. Yeah. There'll be no issue at all.
Herr Crowley, we deeply appreciate it, and you understand. I mean, based off of this photo, we're very concerned, and this is why we're bringing up the topic of the doppelganger, because we fear that something like that is happening to us, and we're not quite sure why.
Oh, well, I mean, if you could get proof of a doppelganger, I mean, you could imagine the knowledge we could gain from that, and the power.
Yeah.
We could get a lot of money.
Mm.
Could go in and empty a man's bank account. Not that I would say we would do that, but you could.
Does this Mr. Hanosen, does he tend to participate in activities such as what is being depicted on here?
Oh,
Sex
well, I
parties,
mean,
that sort of
it's
thing?
it is Berlin. I mean, this
Sure,
is rather tame from some of the things I've seen in this city.
sure.
I'm surprised that more people in this picture aren't dressed with a ball gag.
Mhm.
Well, and nude. Why us? That is our biggest. Unless it somehow goes back to our previous.
I'm beginning to think it might have to. I mean, why else would we be in? Well, I mean, why else would we all be involved?
Yeah, nobody should even know who we are. I'm going to pull out I'm gonna, while we're chatting or eating, I'll pull out a business card of mine, and I'm going to write a note on the back of it, and in the process of the evening I'll slip that to Crowley.
Right. So
to run dry of questions, I just want to make perhaps Herr Guzman's home would be a useful place also for the anti-ritual to replace Fräulein Desmond's original face before things get.
Oh, I could just
Post it to everybody.
Whatever. Yeah, I could just teach it to you. I'm always one to pass on knowledge to all. It's like
much appreciated.
Does anyone speak Latin?
I do.
Okay. All right. He's like, hey, this is the saying to make the face work in the first place. It's no intricate hand procedures or anything. It's simply a simple beseeching. Then he says it in Latin, but since you speak Latin, you understand what he says. "O crawling chaos, grant me a new face. As you have 1,000 masks, give me a new mask to confound my foes. And I promise that I will use it only for gain."
Interesting.
And then the undoing, you just change a simple word. You change it to a new mask, to my old mask. Those, "Oh crawling chaos, grant me my old face. As you switch back from many of your 1,000 masks, I wish to switch back to my original mask."
Interesting. Yeah. Do I recognize at all the reference to the crawling chaos?
Give me a Cthulhu mythos.
Because I do have Divernus Mysteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rolled 55. I've got 15 Cthulhu mythos.
That's it. You got 55 Cthulhu mythos, I'd be concerned.
Yeah. I'd be plotting all of your sacrifices too.
Yeah.
All right.
So, okay, I don't recognize that name.
Yeah, no, don't recognize the name.
So, how Crowley, how soon do you leave for England?
I'm planning on leaving in not tomorrow, but the next day.
Oh, well, safe flight to you. Good luck with your film. If you have any further thoughts, again, you have Conrad's information at the Institute. Perhaps you can send us a way to contact you once you're settled there.
I'm just going back to my estate, my parents' estate. They've passed on, and so it's my estate now.
Yeah, quite. Yeah. Well, yes. Best of luck on the film.
Thank you. I'm sure it will be a success.
Yes, so am I.
All right. So, as we've reached our time, we'll conclude the dinner with Crowley, and that's where we'll close out for the evening.
What are we getting ourselves into? Our players included Julian Arpa, John Dos Passos, Troy Wildtrier, David Gasaway, and myself, with Keith Craig as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft on the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.